This tape is such a political disaster. I feel like I almost have to close my eyes because I can't bear to watch it. Just, here you go. Check it out.
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining.
My whole adult life, we have thought of attacking Social Security as the third rail of American politics. You touch it, and it is a guaranteed political death. Well, we are now witnessing the strongest test we've ever had of that aphorism as Donald Trump grabs that third rail firmly and unmistakably. Trump has announced plans to fire thousands of people who work at the Social Security Administration, more than 12% of its staff. He has released plans to shut down dozens of local Social Security offices across the country. Simultaneously, Trump is also making changes that will force millions more people to have to go to Social Security offices in person rather than dealing with the agency over the phone as they can now. That means millions more elderly people and people with disabilities will be forced to somehow make their way physically to a Social Security office in person if they can find one, because they're closing lots of offices, because they will need to get help in person from a Social Security staffer, provided they can find one who hasn't been fired. The Trump administration also wants to give Elon Musk's group of Doge staffers access to Social Security's database of incredibly sensitive personal information. As we covered here on the show last night, for now, a judge has blocked Doge from getting that information. Today, Trump's acting director of Social Security responded to that ruling by throwing a tantrum and saying if that ruling stands, he will shut down the Social Security Administration altogether. And you don't have to be among the 70+ million Americans who currently receive Social Security to be mad about any of that, right? Making grandma wait in new lines is not nice, right? Making people check themselves out of the hospital or the nursing home to somehow make their way to a faraway office that hasn't been shut to wait for hours to do something they used to be able to do on the phone. It's not nice, right? Pitching a fit and saying you'll just shut down the whole administration is not nice. It ought to be obvious, right? Nobody needs to spell that out for you. Unless you're Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary. I don't know if you saw this today. I feel like in any other moment, this would have been wallpaper all over the American media. But this statement today from Donald Trump's Commerce Secretary about what Trump is doing to Social Security, this tape is such a political disaster. I feel like I almost have to close my eyes because I can't bear to watch it. Just, here you go. Check it out.
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining.
Howard Lutnick, Wall Street titan, Trump cabinet member, saying that his mother-in-law wouldn't call and complain. She'd just wait until next month, see if her check came then. Anybody complaining about not getting a check is obviously a criminal. How does that comport with what you understand of the reality of getting a Social Security check? And who in your life you know gets a Social Security check? Mr. Lutnick went on to say that anybody like Elon Musk, who had been inside a payment system like PayPal, quote, knows the easiest way to find the fraudster is to stop payments and listen, because whoever screams is the one stealing. This is not like a random podcaster dude. This is cabinet official in the Trump administration while they are devastating Social Security. Yeah, maybe it gets easier if you hear it again. Here's one more time.
Let's say Social Security didn't send out their checks this month. My mother-in-law, who's 94, she wouldn't call and complain. She just wouldn't. She'd think something got messed up, and she'll get it next month.
Yeah.
A fraudster always makes the loudest noise, screaming, yelling, and complaining. And if all the guys who did PayPal, like Elon knows this by heart, right? Anybody who's been in the payment system and the process system knows the easiest way to find the fraudster is to stop payments and listen.
Yeah.
Because whoever screams is the one stealing.
He's talking about Social Security checks to elderly and disabled people. Stop the payments and listen. Whoever screams, that's the one stealing. Try seeing that through the eyes of people, even just people in the news. Maybe you can't imagine real human beings that you've met, right? But try seeing it through the eyes of people in the news whose Social Security checks have, for one reason or another, been cut off, and who are not the mother-in-law of the Commerce Secretary for Donald Trump. For instance, take Ned Johnson of Seattle. You might have seen his story going around this week after it was written up in the Seattle Times. Ned Johnson was very mistakenly declared deceased by the Social Security Administration. It was just a mistake. He is not dead. There's the headline in the Seattle Times. Here's a, quote, dead person on Social Security in Seattle with plenty to say. After this mistaken classification, the bank then deducted $5,201 in Social Security deposits from his family bank account. Mr. Johnson is 82 years old. He spent nearly 3 weeks on the phone, followed by 4 hours in person before he could straighten it out. And even though he himself could handle the interruption in his Social Security check, Mr. Johnson said he understood what could be at stake for other people. He said, quote, when I was in that line, I was thinking that if I was living solely off Social Security, I could be close to dumpster diving about now. Or consider James McCaffrey of Oklahoma City. His benefits were also cut off by mistake. And even though he, too, financially could handle the interruption, he says he understood that for other people, this would be a severe crisis.
You interrupt that for 7 days, 2 weeks, or even longer, and they're in bad trouble. They could be out of a house, they could be out of food, I don't know.
It ought to be obvious, right? The right way to approach the needs and expectations and earned income, of millions of retired and disabled people, right? They have good reason now to be worried about their checks, not least because, the administration is hacking away at government on a daily basis. No one should need to spell out for you, right? At least what you ought to say and not to say. But here's Howard Lutnick saying, these people don't really need that money. If any of them complain when we cut it off, which we should, then you know they're criminals. This should haunt the Trump administration, and it may already be starting to.